My name is Jay Ballenberger. I am an instruction and reference librarian at Colorado Mesa University's Tomlinson Library. This is part 3 of the semester study prep, a Maverick research workshop. In part 3, we'll be introducing you to some different productivity techniques. So, let's get on it. Productivity, part 3. So one of my favorite websites for this type of thing is this one right here called College Info Geek. It's created by this guy named Thomas Frank. I think he does an incredible job, well designed, good information. He backs it up with evidence. He does a great job. So I'm going to show you a few things. Again, a lot of these links will be in the descriptions, but I want to kind of show you a little bit of what these are. So one of the things that he uses on his resource list here, again, these resources and tools for students, is a thing called Freedom. It's called Freedom. It's a distraction blocker. So if you find that you get kind of stuck in these time suck type programs online, which is very much a thing, you can basically block certain sites so that you're not going to be distracted. You'll be able to focus on the things that you need to focus on during the times that you need to focus on them. So this is one tool that he provides. Another interesting one is called Habitica. This is a habit tracking app in this case, but basically it kind of gamifies the different things that you are trying to make habits in your life. So it's kind of an interesting thing. It's got again a really great interface and very popular. I haven't used it a whole lot myself, but I've been meaning to, and it seems like a great little fun kind of tool to again track your habits and make habits out of things, make good habits. Yeah. This was one of my favorites. It's called BeMinder. It's a goal accountability type of app. Basically what it will do is it will sting you if you don't do something you declare that you're going to do. So in this case, if you have an assignment that you say is going to get done on time on Tuesday night by 9 p.m. and it turns out that you don't get that done, this app will basically charge you money, usually to an organization that you care about. But I thought of another way that you kind of hack that. You can make it even more enticing to get the thing you want to get done. Is to set it up to pay some organization that you do not want to give money to. It reminds me of the This American Life story. This American Life is an NPR program that talks about all sorts of really pretty profound and amazing stories. Of those, anyways. Basically the same type of thing was happening. People were looking to quit smoking. They decided that one thing that they could do is pledge that if they were going to stop smoking, that but they did end up smoking again, that they would donate money to the Ku Klux Klan, which of course might be the exact organization you wouldn't want any of your money going to, and I would happen to agree with that. So maybe you could hack this tool to do something that's even more motivating. A number of different note-taking systems, and again, I'll link out to some of these things. But one of the things that is going to be very important for you is just having a system that you stick with, basically. So there are a number of different note-taking systems. This slide will link you out to some examples, but things like mind mapping, that's sometimes a good way that people can kind of make associations, get big ideas onto one piece of paper and see how they're connected. Another thing is called Cornell notes, and that's kind of what these pictures are on this slide. You would have your notes that you would take over in that big square, and then you would kind of write down the keywords, the comments, the thoughts that you kind of have about some of that stuff, and then afterwards you would summarize those different things, and that gives you a sense of being able to kind of reflect on the notes that you originally take. So that's another thing, another system. There's some other notes that people do called flow notes, where you would just start writing about what you had just learned in class, basically. And with that, you make, again, connections to things, but it's very much a free writing exercise where you try to free write the things that you are hearing and the things that you think and the things that you're connecting those thoughts to. So just a number of different ways of taking notes. This I thought was a really great little article on how to read, which many of you I'm sure already know how to read. This is a little bit more, this is a more involved way of reading. The whole premise of this was that this gentleman who wrote the article ended up forgetting full books that he had read. You know, maybe he kind of had an idea of them, but he didn't remember as much as he was wanting to read. So he made up this system, provided himself a key where he would take certain notes. He would do these reflective exercises where he would think about and summarize the book near the end, but also little marks throughout the book that would remind him to either look further into something, to connect it to something else that he, kind of remembered. But basically, they're just a much deeper dive into taking notes, and he finds that the work that is put into this is something that really he gets a lot out of afterwards, because he has thought about it so much deeper. He's created many more questions. He's kind of engaged in the material so much deeper. So this again will link out to that article, and if you end up using some of these, I'd love to hear how they work for you. This is another one called spaced repetition, and this is for memorizing. So my Spanish class that I was showing you all, that would be a great one to learn some vocabulary. There are other classes, maybe an art history class where you're learning to recognize different pieces of artwork. An anatomy and physiology class where you're memorizing structures of the human body. So this is how it works. Basically, you see the different boxes, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Let's say you have some note cards that you have, let's say my Spanish vocabulary cards. When I start out, I'm going to put all of my new cards into that first box. That's going to be an indicator that tells me I need to go through these cards once a day. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through them once a day. I'm going to make a pile for the ones that I got correct, and I'm going to make a pile for the ones that I did not get correct. The ones that I did not get correct, they'll stay in pile 1, which means I'm going to visit them again tomorrow. The ones that I did get correct, I'm going to put them in box number 2. It's actually going to be something that I look at every 3rd day, let's say. So now what we're doing is basically extending the time between getting one of those answers correct. If I get it correct after it's been in box 2, I'll move it over to box 3, and those I'll visit maybe only once a week. If I get it correct in box 3, I'll move over to box 4, and maybe box 4 is now looking at them once every 2 weeks, and then box 5 would be looking at them once a month, type of thing. And if you're learning new vocabulary every week, you can see how this system would evolve into a lot of different cards moving in different places. But basically, you're going to look at the things you get wrong more often until you start getting them right. And then the things that you get right, you're going to try to put some more distance between them so that you're testing your recall. So this is a very effective thing for that. And this software here is called Anki, A-N-K-I. Basically is a digital version of that spaced repetition. So it's going to make digital note cards for you. It's going to space them out depending on whether you're getting the answers correct or not. And again, it uses an app that you can have on your phone. So this is something you could just kind of, as you're waiting around from time to time, be able to flip through and have those available for you. Another thing that is very useful, a lot of people use, is pretty popular, is this idea called the Pomodoro technique. Basically, what you're going to do with this is take 25 minutes to concentrate on one task, and one task only. When you get done with that 25 minutes of working on that task, whether you're finished with the task or not, you stop and you take a break for 5 minutes. You reward yourself. You either watch a video you've been wanting to watch on YouTube, or you go take a little walk. You do something that is different from what you were working on, concentrating that 25 minutes on. Now, you would go back and do another 25 minutes, and once you're done with that, you would spend another 5 minutes doing something that you want, rewarding yourself for taking a break. You would do that 4 times in a row, basically, so 4 25-minute sessions. After your 4th 25-minute session, you'll take a longer break. You'll take probably a 15 to 20-minute break, and you'd kind of continue through that way. So basically what this is doing is it's forcing you to think of one task that needs to be completed, and forcing you to try to know what you can get accomplished basically in 25 minutes. And then you put all of your effort into that one task. If some distraction comes up, keep a notepad near you. Write down what it was that distracted you. What that's going to do over time is tell you the things that get in your way. It's also going to tell you the things that you could mitigate and get out of your way, so that you don't get interrupted, so you can spend that 25 minutes really concentrating. I like this because a lot of times we tend to just go on and on and on forever until the due date of our assignment or whatever it is, instead of, and I think there's a lot of wasted time in there. So this sometimes can really get you to focus and really do a lot in that short amount of time. You can change it up to 45 minutes. You can play around with it that way too, but 25-minute time is the pretty typical one that you'll see. So we learned a few different productivity techniques. We're going to be moving on in the next video to learn about stress and burnout. So join us again in part 4. My name is Jay Ballenberger. I'm an instruction and reference librarian at Tomlinson Library at Colorado Mesa University. This was part 3 of semester study prep, a Maverick research workshop.